This is self-empowerment. Coming up on tonight's show, we're going to be looking at EFT, or the emotional freedom technique, or some know the tapping technique. And we're going to be looking at how exactly does it work? How does it affect the body? How does it help you release emotions? We're going to be looking at the Eft Basics, why we tap certain points. And then we're going to move on to the viewers Q&A, where we're going to be looking at 3 or 4 questions from viewers over the last week or two who have asked questions, common questions about EFT, because they're not understanding it fully. So hopefully in today's show we're going to help clarify those for you. First, we're going to look at how EFT works. Now, you have to understand that the human body, what you see in front of you, is the physical body. But within there are your energy fields, your energy channels, and your emotions. And the energy, or the electrical signals, the pulses that carry throughout the body, is transmitting thoughts and feelings throughout the body. And sometimes when we experience trauma, we get blocked. And depending on whether we just simply allow that trauma to pass, learn from it, let go and move on, or whether we hold on to it and allow ourselves to feel bad about something that happened many years ago. Whatever the situation is, it really doesn't matter, because it's simply an energy block, and all the energy channels around the body are connected to each other. So the process of focusing your thoughts on the problem that you want to clear whilst tapping it and releasing it, and willingly and having that intention to release that block, then enables the unconscious mind to get the signal that you're ready to move on and you're ready to leave things in the past where they should be. So we're going to be looking at really the basics of EFT. Now, EFT works on the basis that whenever you're experiencing negative emotions, or you're not feeling well, or you're experiencing health problems, it's usually down to an energy block or emotional block. Now, they have very many different names. I call them energy blocks. It's just if you're feeling, for example, the stomach, if you feel a lot of emotions in your stomach, you're having digestion problems, the stomach usually reflects our inner fear. And certainly there's a key acupuncture point about 4 inches under the armpit, which is the spleen meridian, which connects to the stomach meridian. So any time that you're feeling worried, the stimulation or tapping of this acupuncture point will help get the energy in the stomach moving to enable you to digest better. You may have certain beliefs that it's food intolerances, and doctors and people have told you certain things, but at the end of the day, if you're suffering from fear, if you're worrying about things, it's going to hit the stomach meridian, and you're going to feel most of that fear and worry in the stomach. So we can tap a few acupuncture points and help you clear those energy channels. Now, the other important thing to remember is that EFT is just one of many external tools. Now, a lot of people say, why does it work for some and not work for others? Because we're all unique. We're all different, and if I was to do some DIY at home, I would probably select a different bunch of tools than my father-in-law, who's a bit of an expert at it. So it's really down to the individual to select the tools that you want to work with. An emotional freedom technique, or the tapping technique, is just an external tool. Just like NLP, or neuro-linguistic programming, or meditation, or visualization. All of these things are external things that can help you focus and connect within. And EFT is one of the ones that I've found to be most effective. There's also another technique called the balance procedure, but I'm going to be covering that on a future show and giving you some tips and strategies on how to use that to help you become more self-empowered. Now, the EFT basics. Now, you have to remember that EFT was developed some 20 years ago, and since then many people, including myself, have tried to find shortcuts to accelerate the technique and the amount of time that it takes somebody to actually start releasing their problems and feeling good and start moving forward. So we usually start with a negative setup phrase, and we have some acupuncture points on the back of the hand, and what we normally do is tap them lightly with the tips of our fingers whilst we repeat a statement to ourselves, or an affirmation. And it normally starts negatively. And the reason we do that is simply to acknowledge the problem, because we don't always acknowledge how we're feeling, we don't acknowledge or agree with how we're feeling, and whilst we're doing that, we're holding on to things. And when you tap and willingly choose to let go, it's a real positive step forward in the right direction. So that statement would be something like, if you had a backache, for example, it would be, even though I have this pain in my back, I'm okay. Now, when you say I'm okay, it sends a signal to the unconscious mind that the issue, the problem in your life is now okay. And to stop worrying and to move on, because when something's not okay, we tend to worry a lot. Now, on a one-on-one coaching session, we would tend to use the negative setup phrase, and we would tap it in simply 3 times. And then we would pick out the keywords in the middle, like back pain, and we would then tap them. This back pain, this back pain, this back pain, this back pain, this back pain. We're acknowledging the back pain, and we're acknowledging that it's okay to feel that way. However, we now have the intention to release this energy block so that we can feel strong and able and fit. The other thing that I do a lot in my videos on mygenie.tv, we've got hundreds and hundreds of different tap-along type videos for 101 different ailments that people suffer. And the beauty of it is you don't really need to over-analyse the technique. You just have to understand that the process of combining your thoughts on your blocks and how you wish to move forward and the intentions that you have, at the same time stimulating acupuncture points, it's a form of self-meditation. Your thoughts are focused on yourself, clearing the block and moving forward, and you're stimulating acupuncture points and you're getting the energy flowing through the body. Now, we use a key series of about 7 different acupuncture points. Okay, now the first and another one, an 8th one we use a lot, is on the crown of the head, and all it is a series of key acupuncture points. All these acupuncture points are linked to different organs in the body. So sometimes you'll see me hovering on a key acupuncture point on my tapping videos for maybe a little longer than some of the others, certainly if it's the chin. And if I'm hovering on the chin, it's because that really does connect the past and bring it into the now. And if we willingly and we have the intention to release something and we just hover on that chin point for a little longer, it just focuses the vibrations going in through the chin meridian, and it helps to balance the whole energy system. Now, the last thing we're going to cover is the viewers Q&A. Now, I've had 2 or 3, actually 4 messages in the last couple of days asking different questions about different techniques. Now, the first one was, why do we have to drink so much water afterwards? Well, your body is predominantly made of water, and when you're working with energy and you're clearing emotional blocks, you need to get the old damaged cells from the negativity you've held on for a long time detoxed and out of the body. And when that happens, we call it an energy shift. Some people laugh, some people cry, some people get upset, but it is the natural way the body likes to release that emotion. And it may well be different than you from what I experience. I experience a lot of tiredness and yawning when I'm tapping, and I know that I've got the energy shift that I want. But you might laugh, you might cry, you might just feel a whole bunch of different emotions, but the point is that you're feeling something. If you're sitting there tapping and feeling nothing, then you're not really focusing and you're not really allowing yourself to forgive and let go. So we drink water because it hydrates the energy system, it gets the energy moving, and it helps us to re-energize the body. Because some people say after tapping they feel a little bit low. Well, the water will hydrate and energize the physical body. The second question, why do we use negative setup statements? Well, I sort of covered that a little bit earlier. The reason we do that is if you have a problem like this back pain, you're so used to talking to yourself in negative terms, and you see the back pain as an issue and a real problem, and you never really make friends with it. And if you want to really overcome a challenge, if you want to defeat an enemy, for example, an external enemy, you have to make friends with them. You have to make peace internally. And when we use a statement like, even though I have this back pain, I'm okay, it's taking action for the negative, it's acknowledging it, but it's then stating the clear intention and the willingness to let this block go. I am now ready to move on. Because your unconscious mind will release what it feels you're capable of dealing with at any one time. So if you're desperate to get that release and it's not happening, it's because there is a broader agenda at play, and your higher self, your soul, that inner powerful part of you is just protecting you and feeding you step by step with what it thinks you can cope with. Okay? Now, the next question, do I have to relive the trauma? The thing that puts people off self-development is they go and see a couple of therapists or they read some books, and most of those, which I don't agree with, tell people that they've got to dive back into the trauma, they've got to stir it up, get all those emotions out, face the fear. What's that all about? What a load of rubbish. Face the fear and do it anyway. You've already faced that fear once. That trauma was enough to spook you when you were young, a teenager or an adult. You don't want to go back there again. And the reason why really severe traumas people don't remember is because your unconscious mind is protecting you. You can't remember through your conscious ability for a good reason. The first time you experienced that trauma, it was horrible, and the unconscious mind took it away from you and said, I'll hold on to that traumatic emotion until you're older, till you're ready to release it. So you don't have to go back to release something, because nothing has to change, no one has to say anything different in order for you to feel good now. So in that moment of now, when we're tapping and we're choosing to release, we're sending that unconscious signal to our minds that even though I experienced this trauma many years ago, that was then, this is now, and now I willingly release this energy block. And it's about reframing and seeing how you feel and how you feel going forward now. It's about focusing on the now and how you feel now, not how you felt yesterday or the week before. And it doesn't matter what traumas you experienced 5 years ago, 20 years ago, or even 50 years ago. That is well protected in the unconscious mind. But through tapping and positive affirmations, we can send the signal to the unconscious mind to release this trauma. We're ready to learn from it. We feel that that was part of our experience which we set forth for ourselves to learn from. Now is the time to let it go and move on. So you don't have to relive any trauma in order to feel good now and moving forward. And finally, someone asked, which hands should I use? Should I be tapping with different hands, both hands? And to be honest, it doesn't matter. You are a whole being. You're a powerful energy being, and you can tap with your hands, with your feet. You can even get somebody else to tap for you. You can wear blue jumpers or pink jumpers. You can wear jewellery. You can be eating a snack at the time. As long as your mind is focused and you have the intention of clearing the block and moving on, it will work for you. But you have the power, and if it's not really working for you, maybe you're not applying yourself, maybe you're getting distracted, and you need to find somewhere quiet, still your mind, follow me on the screen and take it from there. So I hope this session has been useful. I'm going to record another 4 or 5 shows today on a whole bunch of stuff, so keep tuned for more episodes coming out over the next week or so. This is David Childerley. I'll see you soon.